Brian Horner here, one of the founders of Kingdom & Co. Today we're going to have a little bit of discussion, story time, about just certain things that we can learn in the remodel phase of construction. So, Brian, I know you've been doing this for quite a while, and you've been so good at what you do. You're a guy who pays attention to detail. You're tough. You get jobs done quickly. Your quality is superior. And so, if you were to talk to some of our potential clients or just people that we know in general, like, what are some of the things that you would just talk to them about like what to avoid, what not to do, things to be aware of? Like, what kind of advice would you give to the world?
Well, I think first is it's a process. Don't rush it. You know, there is phases that you actually want to do your due diligence in, especially the design phase. And I feel like a lot of people really skip over that. And that's why it's so crucial to hire a design build that does it all in-house. I feel like because they can keep you in line to where we get to construction, everything's accounted for, and it's a smooth process.
Well, there's a specific job that you finished recently. It was a giant remodel. I think it was like a $1.5 million remodel. Mm-hmm. And this particular client was amazing, but their experience was more challenging than it should have been because they decided to use their own architect, their own designer,
yeah.
and you were so frustrated for them because there wasn't enough detail in there to get the bids exactly accurate, to get everything. So there was a lot of change orders. That was one of the things you warned them about.
Yeah.
Can you kind of explain to us like that process of like what you, knowing them now, you even told me, you said, if they could go back, what did they tell you?
Yeah, they straight up said if we can go back, we would just hire you for everything. Amazing clients. There was frustration though because the designer would miss a lot of things, a lot of call outs. So sometimes we'd have to take some steps back to move forward. And unfortunately, in the beginning of the process, I told them, because this is outside, if things aren't, we don't capture them in the plans, they're missed, there's going to be change orders. And unfortunately, we wrote, over 150K in change orders on that job.
And we don't like that.
We hate them. I hate them. It's bad customer experience. It slows down my project. Now I have to jump through hoops to readjust the schedule. It's just a pain for everyone.
And change orders are inevitable. We know they're going to happen in the project. But as Kingdom, one thing that we really pride ourselves on, and one of our key values is we really want to be honest with our clients. And so for us, we don't want to change order them. A lot of our competition, that's how they make their living. They make their living on doing a low bid.
I can't tell you how many jobs we've lost, especially in the commercial space, because we're too transparent and we give them what's going to cost. And they'll hire somebody else that's lower, significantly lower.
Right.
I'll talk to them at the end of the project, and they're like, "Man, we spent over $100,000 more than what your bid was due to all the change orders."
Right.
And it's frustrating that that's the game that's being played. I don't think it's fair for the people like us doing the work in the industry, especially not fair for the customer.
Because if you're a customer, one of the things I'm scared of if I'm getting ready to remodel my house and spending a lot of money. First, I want the design to be amazing because I want to get what I pay for. But second of all, I just want transparency on pricing. But a lot of our clients are like, hey, well, how much will this cost? And it's like, well, we can't really tell you until we have all the details. Because once you have all the details, then you can get the bid accurate. And once that bid's accurate, then it makes sense. But a lot of the people that we compete against in this industry, it's very vague. Yeah. The designs look beautiful, but there's no dimensions, there's no call outs. So people will get handcuffed. They'll select a contractor or a designer, whoever it may be, and they're in the middle of the project 6 months in, they're going, this is a disaster. We are so far over budget. And that's because the details from the very beginning weren't accurate. Yeah, so I think that's a really good advice from you is really slowing down to speed up in the beginning process and really focusing on making sure that the details are there so there's accurate estimates and accurate information.
100%.
So if you were going to remodel a house, let's pretend you're remodeling your house, like what would be, if you were to like research different companies, like what would be some of the things you would look for in a company?
I would first, check with the Nevada State Contractors Board website, see if there's any open claims or if there's been any. I'd also check out their standing with Better Business Bureau.
Right.
Make sure they're at least an A plus standing. Also, check their bid limits. It's not hard to find where the contractor's done work in this town. Call the client, see did you have a good experience? Were you happy? There's ways to do your due diligence to make sure you are hiring someone that's going to look out for your best interests. Because unfortunately, there are a lot of companies in this town that they can on paper, we can do this, no problem. You get into it and they don't know what the heck they're doing.
Sometimes we'll go about and like some of our clients will say, hey, I want to go we call them field trips. And so we'll go to different job sites. We'll go to one that's currently ongoing. Mm-hmm. And we love going there because we can show them how clean our job sites look. how organized they are, kind of like attention to detail there. And then we go show them a home that's finalized, and they can see the detail and the attention of detail there and the quality there. And I love bringing our clients to these houses to show them who we really are.
Yeah, it's a game changer. I'll tell you, like bringing clients in, not only to our showroom, but our projects, it's really hard not to land that job when we do that.
Because people, when they're spending a lot of money, they want to have that confidence that we can actually do the job.
They want to be able to look at, transitions and joints and make sure that, man, there's like, those are perfect. They're square, not a bunch of caulk and spackle over them. Everything's crisp. Lines are crisp. Finishes look great. Those are the little details, like outlets in the right spot, and just those things that set good builders apart from mediocre builders.
One of the things that I noticed that you do on your job site, so when you're managing a project, right now you're doing right now a $7 million build, you're doing another $1 million build, and then another 1.8 million. So you're doing 3 at the same time. One of the things that I'm concerned of as a client is, are you guys too busy? How do you handle this many projects? What kind of company are we? I mean, how would you explain to people out there like who are we? And how you're able to manage this amount of jobs and do it in a way that's efficient, on budget, on time?
First off, our team's rock stars. We've cultivated a team and a culture that allows our guys to thrive. We use software that keeps them organized and tasked on each job, so they know which process they're in to move on the next, while they can look at their full workload and be harmony between all their jobs. We make sure that our supers don't run more than 3 jobs. Also a price point. We don't like them to manage more than, I think, 5 million at a time, 7 million at a time. Unfortunately, what you said, I'm managing a little bit more, but because I can. But we don't want to burn them out, and we want them to be able to give the attention to every client on every job.
Right.
You know what I mean? In order to do that, you can't give them more than 3 for them to be efficient. So not only do we have a superintendent that's there daily, we have a project manager who's over 3 superintendents, and he's going to their jobs as well throughout the week. And then you have a production manager who oversees them all. And at that point, you would have me, who's head of construction. But if it gets to me, then we're not doing our job, put it that way. And so far, we have a great system, and it's allowed us to be efficient, keep quality. It's the most important thing: quality and customer experience at the forefront.
What are some of the challenges that we still run into as a company? We're not perfect. Construction is construction. There's everything's custom. There's challenges that we run into all the time. There's sometimes where a subcontractor will come back, a few months later and say, "Hey, I don't want to do it for this price anymore." So we still deal with a lot of back end stuff there. So with Kingdom & Company, what are some of the challenges or some of the things that kind of still keep us human, but we are able to overcome them? Like, what are some of the things that you see?
So, challenges, you may run into, for example, in a remodel, you open up a wall, unforeseen beam, or unforeseen item where we need this beam, a structural support here. There's mechanical in the way now, we have to move it. This wasn't accounted for. So those are frustrations for me because it leads to bad customer experience. I have to write a change order. This was unforeseen. And this is how we have to go about it to fix it. So something I always tell my team is, we build a schedule, but that's not what's going to define us in this project. We should always be beating that schedule on a daily basis. How can we save a day here, save 2 days? So I currently have a project right now where we're running into an issue with the retaining wall. I was supposed to have my footings poured yesterday. I've already looked at the schedule and to see where I can make up that day. And it's going to happen again, but you got to be able to react and be able to readjust the schedule. And what's great with our company is our trade partners, they're able to work with us. You know what I mean? Hey, unfortunately, I need you, I have to push you a day. Is that going to mess you up? And they're great. And
because we have such a good relationship with our trade partners, they'll sacrifice other clients for us because we give them so much work. That's a value that Kingdom can really bring to it, is that we've had relationships with these guys for years and years and years.
Yes.
A decade.
And they're loyal, we're loyal, and they do great work. And so I think it's a win-win relationship.
If you're going to go through to define our company as, especially out in the field, like what are some of the values that we have that really bring string true, like who you are as a leader, as one of the partners of the company? Like, what kind of values do we bring to the field?
So values I like to instill to guys in the field is ownership mainly. I take on a project, I feel like this is my home, and when it's done, it's going to meet my standards to where if I was living here, I'd be very happy with it. And I want those guys to have that. It's not just a 9 to 5, come in, I'll do my job, oh, it looks good enough. our guys actually have the ownership and they know what we expect and what they expect. And they have that same quality and the same drive to give that end product because they want the customer to be happy at the end of the day. And that's something that we all strive for.
Right.
And so, I would say ownership is a huge one. And honesty, we're all going to mess up. We're human.
Right.
Own it.
Right.
Move on. Hey, I screwed up, but this is how I'm going to go about fixing it. And these are our steps. And this is how it's going to be resolved.
I mean, there's so many times where you and I will have a discussion about, hey, we made a mistake here. And then you and I will have that conversation of like, yeah, we got to eat it because that's our fault. So
all the time.
I mean, we spend thousands of dollars a year just because when we make mistakes, we own them, and that's really important. Rather than just saying, "Hey, sorry, client, we made a huge mistake, so you got to pay for it now." It's more like, "Hey, no, our guy broke the chandelier, we have to pay for that," and that stuff sometimes happens. Not all the time. It's not all, but it happens. There's like the other day, I was talking to Ethan, and he was explaining like, "Hey, unfortunately, we misplaced the mirror. We don't know what happened to it. Like it's been there on site for 5 months." And we don't know what happened. It could have gotten stolen, and who knows what happens. But long story short, we were able to make up for it. We had to reorder the mirror, and it was under our dime. And that's how we work as a company. Because again, our name is important to us. We're not perfect.
And even like we have a standard warranty where it's 1 year. I call it bumper to bumper, and then obviously a 10-year structural. But if you call me 2-3 years down the road, and it's something that was we did that wrong. We're going to own it. We're going to make it right. That's just the company that we are.
Because we're born and raised here. I mean, being born and raised here, our reputation is everything.
Yeah, it's small town, and you don't want to burn bridges, and we want to ensure that we get that returning client. That when they decide to do that next phase or addition or whatever, they think, hey, remember how Kingdom went out of their way years down the road to take care of us? Because it matters.
So one of the cool things I love that we do, and you kind of explain more about it, is we have a software where clients go into their portal. They can see how much money is left owed on the project, all the change orders are on the project. You can go through and update them. We do daily updates. Like, explain to them how we're able to consistently, because one of the things I think that sets us apart is how we communicate every day. And we have a walkthroughs once a week with our clients. Can you kind of explain how you guys go through that?
So communication is imperative. Not only do we use JobTread, it's a software program that we do daily logs where we tell what happened for the day, if it was completed, what were our hiccups, why not, what's happening tomorrow, and what was checked on quality today. And then they upload videos and pictures into that daily. Not only that, they're meeting with the customer at least once a week face-to-face in person, and they're going over the project to show them progress. And we go even above and beyond. Like I always tell my guys, you should love to be in front of your customers.
Right.
It's powerful because all it does is build that relationship of trust more and more. I mean, I talk to my customers every day on the phone if I can't see them in person. It's something that really does set us apart because you'll see a lot of contractors, here's my scope, I'm going to get it done, I'm not going to interact with you, I'm done, I'm leaving.
Right.
We're not that way at all.
Communication is huge for us. It's super important.
Yeah.
Even though we've had hiccups in the past with outside designers, outside architects, outside engineers, because we've had one engineer who was horrific, right? Blaming us for everything, which is crazy, which is very rare. But we do work with outside designers like Christy Schneider, people like her, who are amazing designers. We have amazing architects out there that we work with outside. So there are teams of people that we do love working with, but they need to go through our process and make sure that we're being covered and protected so that we don't have to have those clients don't have to have those experiences that they've had in the past.
And a lot of the times we're happy. We welcome working with outside agencies, and when they come in, we actually end up becoming a good team because what we can do is we can take what they're designing and actually make them into construction plans.
Right.
With our in-house drafters, which is huge for our guys in the field. We're happy to do that and charge a minimal fee for that, but it's a game changer, and that kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier. It's like the do's and don'ts. Yeah, if you're going to use outside design, that's great, but let's make sure in the planning process all the plans are accounted for, every finish is called out, everything's done, and by working with us, we're allowed to capture that on the plan.
I've talked to a couple of designers who were like, "Oh, I didn't know you guys worked with outside designers." I'm like, and then the one recently that we've worked with, we brought them in and we had a team meeting with them. They're like, "I love working for this company because you guys are so transparent. You're so detailed. You guys are here to help me, not just to throw me under the bus." And I'm like, "No, like when you bring us a project, we treat that very seriously and we want you to succeed." And so I feel like we have a lot of success with specific outside designers who are just amazing people. And we can work because we're team players and we have team meetings and they're part of that. So I think it's important.
100%.
A really cool story that me and Brian, one of our in-house interior designers, Amanda, we've been working with her for many years. She worked for Studio McGee, a really high-end Utah company. And she's just been a blessing for our entire careers of what we're doing. It was really neat because we worked with her for so long.
Yeah.
She finally came to us and was like, why don't I just work for you guys? Because we treat them really well. We were very competitive in pay. And so it was really cool to see how somebody who worked as an outside designer decided to join the team and see the success that happens. So I don't know. To me, it's like it just shows how
Our
big a team
culture.
player we are. Yeah, and our
And
culture.
and our culture too. It's fun to work here. It really is. Like, we have a great environment, and all our designers are rock stars. Like, we're very fortunate in what they put out. Look at our stuff. Architectural Digest. It's amazing. The stuff.
We're winning awards, things like that.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where it's exciting for me and you, because when we first started, we were literally doing small bathroom remodels that were so simplified. We were doing these little kitchens, and now we're doing these huge projects, and we're so proud of it.
We were doing 200 jobs a year?
At one point, we're doing like just basically handyman stuff. It was
Yeah,
crazy.
any job that came in, we took it. We were hungry, and we realized that was not a recipe for success.
Now we're very specific on who is the right client for us. But
Yes.
it's neat to see that these professional people who we really looked up to are now joining with our team because they see the culture, the success, and the beauty of working as a team.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. So Amanda, her being part of our team has just been amazing.
Another thing that sets us apart: QR codes on our plans. It's really cool because it's live what's going on right then. So,
Why does that matter? Like, explain to me why that matters.
because like, for example, a designer may make a change instead of a wall mount tub filler, it's now a pedestal. Those things matter. So at any time when the plumber or electrician or mechanical comes on the site, they can QR, they see the most updated approved plan stamped, and they know that's a working set that they have to be working off of. What we've realized by doing this is it eliminates the mistakes of multiple plans being printed with different dates. You always have a working set. We still have physical plans on the job site, but to verify to working set, the QR codes are gospel.
Having the most updated code or plans is imperative because there's changes throughout the whole process.
Yes.
And that's the gospel of like, hey, this is the most recent plan of what's been talked about with the team. And there's times where there's an old set of plans on the job site where
And it might be
they're
something
dated.
as simple as like, we're gonna move this vanity over, on the same wall, so it's already called out, it's getting permitted for plumbing over. Well, I don't want to put a revision in for that, charge the customer unnecessarily.
Right.
I'd rather just redline it, upload it to my drafter, he fixes it, then we have the live plan right there.
Love that.
You see?
That makes so much sense, and just matter. Yeah, really do. We've gone to multiple projects where we've taken over old or jobs that are ongoing. The one that comes to my memory the most is, and there's been multiple of these actually, but the one that comes to my mind is when the client came to us and basically the house was 20% done, and they're like, hey, we gave our contractor $100,000 down, and he disappeared.
Yeah.
And we were like, what just happened? And that happens all the time because people, to their defense, they always go with the cheapest guy, and that cheapest guy can really burn you.
And that goes back to what we were saying, is you really have to vet your contractor, and that's what sets Kingdom & Co. apart. It's like, we are an established company. We have a A+ with the Better Business Bureau. We'll take you to our clients. We'll give you a list of clients. We're happy to have you call and check us out. I'm telling you, you're going to hear nothing but good praise. We're proud of that. That's something that we strive to do, and we make sure every job that we do get there.
Right. So when you come into a project that's ongoing, that the contractor, for example, that one job I was talking about, where the people got money stolen from them, the first thing that we went into there was like, okay, we got to really see how we can save them some money, because we felt really bad that they got $100,000 stolen from them. So how do you approach that situation?
So I already knew going into it, they're already, they're in a tough spot. They're about to, now we have to come in, charge them. And also, like, we're happy to do it, but in order for me to come and take over a job, I have to inspect everything in that house.
You slow down to speed up.
Yeah, I mean, to the point where we had to remove drywall. I had to make sure, wiring was right coming out of the main panel, certain things like that. Because I'm not going to take it over, because you can fire the contractor, hire a new one. You just have to change contractor of record through whatever municipality, whether it be county, city, or City of Henderson or wherever. That new contractor is taking a liability because you're taking over that work to that point. In order to do it right, though, is you need to have it all inspected before you actually do it.
And so when you go in there, you'll go in there and you'll assess the whole situation. Sometimes we'll even have to get plans redrawn.
Yep.
But then we can go out there and attack it and get it done effectively. And I've seen you do that so many times, where you go in there and you assess the whole situation, and you bring our whole team in there, and and we knock it out of the park.
Who doesn't want to be a hero? You
Right.
know, at the end of the project, they love you, and you got it done for them in less amount of time to where they were at in that 20%. They're blown away, happy, beautiful home. It's a good feeling. I love doing it, to be honest. It's fun.
It's fun to go in there and save the day.
Yeah,
for
we just did it like a couple weeks ago.
Right.
Or a couple months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A couple months ago, and then we also did it with the HGTV.
That's what I was referring to. I didn't know if we should be talking about
It's okay.
it.
There's 3 projects there where the clients were just having terrible experiences, and we were able to go in there and save the day. And that was, one guy was trying to charge to move a shear wall $100,000, and we were able to do it for 15 or 20. I mean, it's just like, it's just things like that. You're like, it makes you feel good to go in there and really help people out.
I'll tell you what, that's one thing that you and I have always said is we sleep good at night because I know that we're transparent and we do the right thing for our clients.
What everybody wants in our industry, every one of our clients wants this. We want it, speed and quality. How do you go fast without compromising quality? Because to me, when I hear somebody like you go, I can knock this thing out, and you do a hell of a job doing it. Like, you're so good at it. But how do you do it? Because most people can't go fast and continue to keep quality. Like, I'm sure your answer's like, I just do it.
I mean, OCD probably, but
Yeah,
I mean, it
it's
really
fair.
is. My mind, like when I take a project, I'm always striving to beat my, and I even build out my own schedules. And I think it's sometimes a game to me, like, I'm going to beat this already tight schedule. And most of the time I do. But the way I don't let it affect quality is I'm not a guy who waits to do punch at the end of a job. I'm taking care of defects as the job's going. Even though that trade is not coming back to the end, he's still coming out because I hold my trade partners accountable. I make it to where when I'm done with that job, I have no punch, and I don't, because I am having those daily communications with the customer. He sees me that I know, hey, this is an issue, it's blue taped, we're taking care of it. So by the end of the project, he knows the way I'm working, I know the way he's working. He's like, yeah, I don't have a punch list. That's just something I strive for.
Because you're always striving. And one thing I can almost answer this for you in a way too is like, observing you and how good you are on the field. You're a chess player. You're always 2 to 3 moves ahead. You're never just reacting. You're like, you're thinking 1 week ahead, 2 days ahead, 7 days ahead, 2 months ahead. You're always looking ahead and looking how you can. So you're not only are you quality checking as you're going, but you're also thinking 3, 4 moves ahead, which is why I think that's why you're so good at what you do.
I use a checklist on my job too, where once I build the schedule, that day I build the schedule, even though I'm not in drywall for 4 months from there, I'm still calling my guy and I'm saying, hey, and I also send him an email, tentatively block me out for this 3 weeks to hang, texture and everything. And as it gets closer, I'll shore it up with you. And then I have that checklist where it says, okay, this is your next process. Have you let this person know, this person know, this person know? And it's kind of a mental checklist, but it's something that I have given to our production team. I don't know if they use it or not. I think they should, but it's powerful. Yeah, you should be giving your trade partners as much advance notice as possible. That's why the worst saying is like, hey, I need you here in 3 days. I didn't even know about this project. I can't get out there for 3 weeks.
Right. That
How's
happens a
that?
lot.
Kills customer experience. It's
Right.
bad. So yeah, again, go playing chess, not checkers. You wanna give them as much info and constantly giving them the info. Hey, just a reminder, we're still good for that. It's not just the day before. Hey, you're gonna be there tomorrow.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's a lot of work when you're running multiple jobs, but that's the only way you're gonna be efficient and the quality stays intact.
Yes, with the new builds, for instance, you one of the ways that you're playing chess a few moves ahead is getting the electrical panels out there at the very beginning stages, because Nevada Power is a monopoly and they have a lot of power control.
Yeah.
So it's nothing worse than being stuck on a situation where you can't control it. So you'll get power done right away, where a lot of contractors won't do that.
I'll tell you, because I don't want, MV Energy to be watching this. They've gotten a lot better as far as their coordinators and whatnot, but it is difficult. My last couple new builds, I'll be honest, I had the house done on one, and I'm still waiting for my hot glass. Hot glass is where MV Energy pulls the wire to the panel. It's been 2 months. What I wanted to do on this new build that I just broke ground on is I did not want to run into this issue. So I set my panels pre-slab, steel posts or steel studs that come up holding both 400 amp panels. There's two 400 amp panel feeds. I was able to get my mandrel test done before I even poured the pad. So that's passed off now. My pad's poured. I'm in for hot glass. So within the next 6 weeks, I'm going to have both my 400 amp main feeds powered. I already have temporary power there, which will be great for the job trailer. But my crews and the different trades there, they'll have basically 800 amps of power to work in that house, and it's great.
That's huge. That's because again, playing chess, being 3 moves ahead, not having to wait for other things.
Yeah, I already had the E-tag before I poured the pad.
Right.
And that's just that's something I'm incorporating to everybody in our company. This is the way we should do this going forward because it's so much more efficient.
At the end of the day, Brian, there's basically two main phases of our company. One is in the design phase, and then the second is into the construction or production phase. It's really important for people to understand how important both phases are and how they coordinate with each other. So I feel like at the end of the day, what's the most important thing for our company is to make sure that we are striving for our clients in both of those phases. And I feel like you represent so strongly the values that we hold in our company, because in the field, you are always focused on ownership. You're focused on making sure the communication is there. You're making sure that quality is there. And that at the end of the day, we have one desire, and that's to give our clients these beautiful homes that they can look at and just enjoy their environment for the rest of their lives, or for the phase that they're in those homes. So I feel like you do a really good job, really, accelerating and being excellent in that in the production field.
Well, I appreciate that. No, I'm proud of what we built, and I love our team, and all I want to do is make them better each day.